when people nowadays talk about skepticism, I think what they usually have in mind is that there are people who refuse to believe all kinds of things, or refuse to believe even what the man in the street or the woman at the sink or whatever it is takes for granted as sheer common sense. But when one talks about the Greeks and what skepticism was for them, I mean, the view which was expressed in The Beginning of Modernity by Montaigne, and which I believe is the heart of Wittgenstein's way of thinking, skepticism didn't mean disbelieving things. It meant being careful to ask yourself whether the questions that you're asking made sense at all. I mean, if you ask a question which is based on all kinds of misconceptions, or which is far too general to answer, or otherwise defective, it doesn't matter whether you say yes or no about the answers to that question. I mean, the yes answer and the no answer are equally meaningless if the question is a dotty question in the first place. Some poets have taken advantage of this. John Donne, for instance, has a poem that begins, "At the round earth's imagined corners, blow your trumpets, angels." Now, here he uses the fact that talking about the round earth as having imagined corners which you can blow trumpets at is a poetic conceit. If you try to be philosophical and ask serious questions about what happens at the round earth's imagined corners and insist on getting deadpan answers, all of those answers are going to be equally worthless. And when one talks about Wittgenstein as a skeptic, it's not because he disbelieved a lot of things, it's that he thought that we kept deceiving ourselves by the very way in which we ask philosophical questions. And he wanted to nurture our capacity to recognize in what cases we were not confronting serious questions, but rather deceiving ourselves by the very way in which we asked the questions, the way we formulated them. So in this respect, he was quite different from Descartes, who said in the discourse that we must disbelieve anything which we cannot give a mathematical proof of. That's an attitude which the Greeks would have called negative dogmatism. And negative dogmatism, i.e. denying anything you can't give a Euclidean proof of, this is a very different position from understanding our own capacities for self-deceit, which is the germ of what was known as skepticism by most people in antiquity, and the sense in which I want to talk about Wittgenstein too as being a skeptic.